Welcome back again, guys. If you are still here from the start and you've watched all the way to this episode, which is episode 10 now, I think you're a sadist. I think you must just enjoy watching me suffer, because there's been a lot of suffering going on. A lot of suffering. So you saw last time, we managed to turn the engine over, get a lot of the wiring done. I'm at the point where, with the ignition, I am just guessing. I am plugging things in, touching the battery and hoping nothing sets on fire. So that's what I'm about to do now. I've just got the carbs plumbed in. No gaskets or anything like that. It's got no oil in it. I just want to see if it'll fire off. So I'm going to bang a bit of brake cleaner. Pretend I didn't say that. Pretend I said fuel. Bang a bit of brake cleaner in there. See if it fires off. If it fires off, then it tells me that I've done something right, and it might just run. If it doesn't work, then back to the drawing board. In just a minute, I'll show you what I've done with the ignition, but first, the engine bay. Let me show you what we've done. So if you have a little gander around here, we've got both the carbs in, filters are off, dash pots, these are sticking a little bit, like they're not returning the way they should. They've got a little bit of stick on there, so I need to get the damp oil. I bought new damp oil and I've lost it. I have no idea what I've done with it. So aim is spray a bit in there, spray a bit in there, turn the key, hope for the best. But first we're just going to touch the battery on. I'm going to leave you at this end having a look to make sure nothing explodes or goes up in flames, because it may be the case that as I turn this key on, that coil explodes into a million pieces and sets on fire, or it's just going to get really hot and sizzle and set the car on fire. But hopefully there's nothing in here that is flammable. I've taken all the fuel and there's no oil in it and all this bobbins, so should be good on that front. So let me show you our ignition, or the state of affairs. This is the new ignition that I've got set up. So currently, top position, I have solid white, which I believe is lights and such. Second position, I have the... Actually no, I think that is lights, and as well that is ignition coil. It's annoying because if you have a look here at the top, you can see 3 solid white wires. Those wires go to the alternator, the fuel pump, and also the overdrive. It then goes to the fuse box and the ignition coil. So that should be 3 white wires. What we've got, 2 solid white wires and another separate 2 solid white wires, but I don't have a way of differentiating between the two. So I don't know what the difference is between the two, and I don't know at what position. I would assume you would want things like your fuel pump on at the first turn, so that's what makes me think you would want on here. But that doesn't make sense. No, it does make sense, because you would want your fuel pump and your spark at the first turn. You want spark there, or power going to it. The second lot of white wires is the solid on, which I would assume... Actually, we don't want any white wires solid on. What we do want on is green and white. So I think green and white should be at this top position, so I need to swap the green and white around, and then that might work. But I'm going to put the key in and find out and hope nothing blows up. So let's do that. Okay, so what I now need to do is to go under, past the power cable, up through here, come up this side, and then I can touch them together. I am terrified, to say the least, so let's try that. Right, so that's now up. When I tell you I am terrified, I mean terrified. So, let's put our power on first, or positive. Should fit. Oh, this is a tight squeeze. I've clearly not routed this correctly because it shouldn't be this difficult, but why does that not stretch? That should stretch to there. Let's see if this sparks. Yep, that's not right. That shouldn't be trying to turn over. So I've wired that incorrectly, so now I need to mess with that. And it also smells like burning. Something's on fire. So what I think is that the starter and the relay should not be on the same connection, because then it's just constant power. So maybe I try that again, and I will swap the one of the solid whites with the starter relay possibly. I have no idea, absolutely no idea. So all the whites should be on the same branch, so maybe that's that. I'm wondering if maybe there's not, this isn't the right connections. I do smell a little bit of burning, but I don't know where from. Is it from the back here where I've wired? Nothing here is hot, nothing here is hot. They're not hot. So let's see, nothing hot. Right, I'm going to try that again and see if this sparks. It may, because I may be being an idiot, but we shall see. Well, it'd help if I put the power cable back on, wouldn't it? Like an idiot. How did that even drop off? I think that might be a sign of whoever the person is up above telling me you should not be doing this. You're going to blow yourself up. I'm panicking. I'm panicking. I'm going to lose my job. All my fingers, all my hair, all my eyebrows. Right, no sizzling. Probably shouldn't hold that by the metal bit. That's turning over again. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Alright. So I'm going to swap this and this possibly. Let's try that. Let's touch it again, see what happens. That's sparking again, so something is on. I don't know what is on, but something is on. Maybe I do go back to my original ignition, because this has 15, 57A, 30. Is that numbered, unlike this? So this is my old one, and on here we have 30. Why are they all numbered in a way that I don't understand? So that goes like that, and then I would think white would be at the top, maybe. White at the top. No. I have no idea. White and green at the top. Both whites. Start a relay, maybe. Let's try it. Oh. So let's see if it sparks again. No sparks, okay. That is reassuring. Let's have a look round and see if anything's on fire first. Tell me if you see any fire. Nothing feels hot. Don't smell any burning. Fuses don't feel hot. This looks okay. This seems like it might be okay. Put you in the engine bay. Zoom you all the way out. And you can tell me if anything blows up. I'm praying it doesn't, but we'll see, won't we? That's on. That should be starter, but it's not. So I think that's broken. Personally, that did nothing. That's not even giving me starter relay. Why is it not even giving me starter relay? Try again. Okay, so to summarise there, turn the key, absolutely nothing happened. No idea why. Could it be that that ignition is just completely clogged up and the contacts aren't doing anything? Probably. But there is a different number on the dash mounted ignition, like number of terminals, than there is on my one, which is steering column. So I may have to find some help on this one. Why is that trying to fucking turn over? Ah, that's wrong. But does that mean that it's right but they're in the wrong position? Okay, that's better. Anything getting hot? Nothing feels hot. Okay. Let's see. That started. That just started. I do smell burning. Is it out of the carbs? I don't know. I smell burning, but I have no idea what, so fuck it. Right, so now we know that turns over. What we're going to do, get this filled full of oil. Get the lid off. Get that filled full of oil. I've gone and got cheapy chips, Halford Special. Bang some of this in. And what can I do? Clutch line, do that. And then I need to figure out some sort of throttle linkage so that I can actually drive this thing out the garage. If I can do that this weekend, I'll be happy, because it means we can start finishing off the last touch bits of welding. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but at the back where the heater box goes, right there is a big old hole. So let's bang some oil in here. This is going to go everywhere. Oh god. Let's pour some more oil in and see if it leaks. That was stupid. Oh yeah, that's going everywhere. Pouring oil absolutely everywhere. What I should have done originally, not been a donut, like that in there, and then pour in there. Maybe. Probably not actually, that's stupid. But what I'll do is, before I start it anyway, I'll brake clean all this so I'm not just pouring oil absolutely everywhere. I should also check to see if this even has a gasket in it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, which will... I mean, I'm seeing gasket at the back, I think. So once we've got this off... If I've done it without putting a gasket in, that would be such a me thing to do. Rushing about and not paying attention. Proper stinks here. What is that smell? It really smells like burning oil maybe, or... I mean, I did run it for like 0.5 seconds without any oil in it, so... Could be that. Might not be. Might be some of my electrical bobbins on fire. It's got a gasket in it. It's about 8 billion years old, but it's got a gasket in it. Yeah, so maybe I just need to go way tighter than I did. Obviously this is a rented garage and I've got oil stains absolutely everywhere, so when I'm out of this garage I'm going to have to do so much cleaning. Beautiful, beautiful people. We're about to start the car. I'm just about to dump a load of fuel into the float bowls, turn it over, see if it idles. Points worth noting, we have no coolant system in place at all, so it may gush water everywhere that's sat in the block. Hopefully not, but I just want to see if it'll run. Once it'll run, I can then faff about with throttle linkages and all that good stuff, and then I can get my coolant and stuff in place and I can drive it out of the garage and get stuff put back on, which is exciting. So enough yapping from me, let me get this whacked in the float bowls. Fingers crossed it pulls through, no issues. Let's get to it, no fires. Right you lot, for you this is the same video, for me this is the following weekend. Essentially what happened last week was I threw a load of fuel in the float bowls, but it's just not pulling through. I don't know if there's not enough back pressure to push it through. So obviously the float bowl sits here, and then your fuel line that goes up to the needle sits there, and then the jet. So I don't know. So I gave up last week. Didn't have any fuel line to try and make some sort of gravity thing, which didn't do that. So this is now the following week. I had a few too many cold snacks last night, so not feeling 100%, so I won't be talking too much in this video. What I need to do, I've got a new clutch slave cylinder to fit, so I want to get that whacked on, bleed the clutch. Hopefully, if I can do that, what I'll do, obviously get it running, whack on my radiator and stuff like that, so you've got some sort of coolant in there, and then I'll be able to drive it out and actually do more work on it. That's enough yapping from me anyway. I'm going to whack some Bill Withers on, feel sorry for myself and get cracking. Fitted the slave cylinder for the clutch and attempted to bleed it. Put a video in here somewhere. It's not thrown out as far as I thought it would, but I've got a new, the fork thing that sticks in, I've got a new one of them on the way. I don't think this one's right. It looks like it's been welded at some point. Could be too short, could be too long, don't know. So yeah. massive, massive air leak. Right, so as you saw then, it ran, but it's trying to idle at like 8 bazillion RPM, which is not what we want. Shut up. Yeah, so it's trying to idle super, super high, which is not what we want. I've not messed with the idle screw. What it is I think there's a load of air leaks. So I'm just going to go tighten everything down, look for air leaks, and then go from there. But I've booked a few of the open air lines, so it might idle a bit lower. Let's find out. Or it might not start at all. Still really high. Maybe I've set the throttle wrong. Could be the case that I've set the throttle position wrong where the linkages are, so it's held ever so slightly open. I wouldn't think so. What else could it be? That's not airtight, but it's on there. That's blocked off. Does this engine have any more airlines? Vacuum advance, but that wouldn't make it climb this much, I shouldn't think. What else could it be? What else could it be? These are obviously not all the way on, but they're a good way on. Obviously it's climbing so high that I know it's not like a little leak, it's a pretty flipping massive leak. Kind of hard to sell. It could even be the manifold, as in the intake manifold. Maybe I've not tightened that up enough. I'm just super paranoid about snapping a stud, to be honest. Oh yeah, it's not tight at all. Right. Take two. So now I won't start at all. What else could it be? Oh, well, the throttle was stuck open, which won't help. But why is this getting stuck? Try again. Might need that bit of choke, to be fair. Probably does, to be honest. wee bit of choke there. Just leaking fuel everywhere. No luck. Maybe now that I've sealed off where there was air getting in, maybe now it makes sense that my throttle adjustment or something is wrong. Maybe I need to take the choke completely off and try it like that. Let's have a look. Why is it lost spark? So, this one's all as it should be. Get them there. Stinks. It's rich, but it's running. What's that? Something's foggling and I don't like the sound of that. Well, that went well. Right guys, quick little update. We're running fairly well. I've got a few air leaks which are causing issues, but nothing major. The current issue that I'm having at the moment is the clutch. So the fork that sits on the slave cylinder and pushes in the arm to actuate the clutch, the one that came with it was like an inch longer than it should have been, as in it'd been welded, there was a chunk welded onto the end of it. So when I went to fit that with my slave cylinder, the issue was I just couldn't get it to go in. I hadn't realised that my slave cylinder was very much seized. So what I did was I replaced the slave cylinder, but I'd already cut that little knob off the end of the arm to try and get it to fit. But now the issue is that I've ordered a new arm as well, and that arrived. They're about the same size now. But both of those arms, they're not extending far enough to engage the clutch, to press the clutch plate. So I'm a bit stuck. I don't understand why it is. I've bled it about 50,000 times. I'm wondering if there's something not stock internally that would need a longer clutch fork, but I wouldn't know why. So yeah, I'm a bit stuck at the moment. That's literally the job I'm trying to do at the moment. Another job that I'm having issues with is the choke linkages. I did not take a picture of the choke linkages when I took it off, which was stupid. But as you can see, the dash is now in. I say in, it's half in. I fitted a new choke cable. Choke cable is sort of where it should be, but nothing's working. So what I'll do is I'll get over the front side and I will show you what we've done there. Okay, so every single one of my torches has died, so I'm just going to use my phone and you're getting some Blair Witch style filming. So, pedal box, clutch line, all in. It is slightly over full. I was trying to see if maybe I could, I don't know, build some sort of pressure. So, tried to bleed that, that's where we're having issues. I've not started on the brakes yet because I'm going to delete the servo, which means I need to change that junction possibly. I think, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so we'll see. Radiator, the radiator is now in. There is, well, there was some water in there. It's probably all, yeah, it's just all leaked under the bottom side of the engine. Great. This heat matrix, we're going to take that out, sand it, paint it, because it looks absolutely awful. So for now I've done some professional bodge job. Let me climb over here and I will show you our clutch setup currently. So what I've been doing to run the engine is obviously just filling the float bowls, getting it going. It doesn't want to run without choke, so obviously we'll need tuning. The issue that I'm having is I did not take any pictures of what it looked like before. So my throttle linkage, as you can see, is there. That moves as it should. Let me see if I can show you. That moves as it should, revs as it should. This choke, obviously it has this arm, which is where the cable sits into, but I don't know how to get this cable to move through it to pull that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to get this cable to be fixed in place. Obviously there's this here which I've just tried to do, but obviously that's not going to allow the cable to be pulled because it needs to pull this arm down to actually engage the choke. Currently I've done it completely wrong and these are even hitting each other, which we don't want, and also it's not even engaging. That's engaging now. Try it again. Okay, so my choke's also sticking a bit, which is great, which is really amazing. But yeah, so I'm going to have a look online and see if I can figure out how this linkage works. And yeah, with that I need to ordering fuel lines and figure this clutch problem out. Maybe I just weld another notch on the end of this arm. Basically I got the engine, let me put you up here. I got the engine from Henry. Henry had bought it off someone having owned the car previously. So he owned the car, sold it, and years later down the line he's bought the car. So he's not messed with the slave cylinder at all because he's just gone to do an engine swap. So he doesn't know, but I'm wondering if maybe he knows the person he bought it off, whether they know anything. I don't know, if you put like a racing clutch in, do you need to have a further arm to increase the throw? I don't really know. You lot notice that I've worn 3 different outfits in this video. That's because I keep running out of time, but I want to keep it all in one video because this is the video I want to get this car running. I mean obviously we've had it running, but I want to be able to get it moving under its own steam. Obviously we don't have fuel lines, but we can run it on some sort of fill the float balls up, drive it out. So we've had a load of nightmares with the clutch. I bought new slave cylinder, master, and bled it all, and it was just, oh, and the fork for actuating the clutch. It's a nightmare. Honestly, it was an absolute nightmare, but we should have it up and running now. Checked the amount of movement in the pedal. It's a bit more than it was. I don't know if it's actually enough, but there's only really one way to find out, which is starting the car up and seeing if it'll go in gear whilst it's running. That's what I'm going to do now. Right, so I've just hooked up the battery. Well, I say hooked up, I've touched the terminals and I've got sparks and some noise from the engine bay. So I'm going to set you guys up and hope that you see something that I can't. Nothing has changed since the last time. No wiring has changed, nothing additional has been connected. So it shouldn't be the case that things are sparking at all. So if that is the case, then I am absolutely perplexed. So, let's get this light plugged in. There's no cables down there, is there? I can see. Touching the starter. Actually, there might be. Let's have a look down here and see what's going on without blinding myself. Something's dripping as well. Something is very much dripping. Well, I know what it was. One of my lines is touching the starter, I think. Let's test again and hope that it doesn't spin. There's no way that the key's in the on position. So nothing's changed. Let's try it again. Try give it a wee bit less choke. A bit more choke. Right, so I gave it a little bit of a turn there, didn't want to turn over. I need to adjust my choke linkage, I think. It does not want to run without at least a tiny bit of choke on, even when it's this hot. Okay, so I've set the choke, but the issue that I'm having is, even though the arm is pushed the entire way down, it's not actually adjusting. So something's out of whack there. But, let's try to start it anyway. Oh, I've just poured fuel everywhere. Oh, that's going to go everywhere. Right, let's give it a go. doesn't want to run unless this one is on choke. So mixture's way off, way off. On the plus side, I'm not seeing any drips underneath. Also, the clutch did work, so that's reassuring. So I'm going to whack everything back on, see if I can reverse it out of here, see what happens. To be honest, I forgot how low it sits. Oh, flat tyre on the back. This is going to be interesting getting out of the garage. Oh, let's see. Need more fuel. Anyway, I think we've achieved quite a bit this episode, so I'm going to sign off. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you're like, subscribe, and you are a bunch of legends. I need to go to bed and I need to eat.